Hello everybody, and welcome back to another healing related video. Today we're going to talk about the void, which is a very important topic. The first time I got introduced to this concept of the void as I understand it is actually through Arden Leigh's video called "The Void is the Point," which I'll link later below in the comments. But essentially what the void is there's a lot of ways you can look at it, but I look at it as the vacuum that happens when things are removed or, die or no longer exist. So the void is actually a really important part of the healing path, the journey to self-actualization and growth and all of that good stuff. So, but if we don't have context for it, it can basically feel like death, but in a bad way, as in I guess with anything, if we don't have context for what's happening, it's all the more troubling. But if we know oh, okay, I'm in the void period right now and I can just ride it out. So what does that actually look like, and how when does the void happen? So the void basically happens whenever we're going through a major change. This could be a breakup or new job or moving or that kind of thing, or just going through self-growth and changing as a person. With all these things, it's there's a death of the old, and then there's a bit of a gap in a sense of the period between the old and the new, and that gap period is the void. And if we don't know how to ride the void, then we're not going to get the full benefits of it in a sense. We might be jumping quickly into the next thing without integrating and processing what has died, right? So for example, with breakups, part of the reason why on and off relationships are a thing is because there's a lack of ability to ride the void. So it's instead of just letting the relationship die in a sense, it's there's this continually reviving it, and an unwillingness to ride the discomfort of not having that close confidant and this intimacy for a bit of time before the next person comes in. So yeah, the void is actually a really good time to kind of go inwards and reflect and take stock of what's happening, and just be really comfortable in that little hermiting phase, I suppose. And this is where we integrate and for example, when you go traveling, and when you can travel, I guess this will be post-COVID or pre-COVID, or maybe if you're within, I guess you can go traveling within the same country, but anyway, so yeah, when you go traveling, and then it's just you have all these highs, right? And then when you go back home, it just feels this low of the lack of the peak experience in a sense. And but the thing is, that period of the lack of the peak experience is as important as the peak experience, because we need to integrate and really absorb the lessons of the peak experience. We can't do that if we're always going for those highs, right? So the void is just a good period to get really right with yourself, be comfortable in your own company, be comfortable in the vacuum. So the more comfortable we are in the vacuum, the better the things that will come that will fill it after the void period has ended. So whether that's you're up-leveling and you kind of don't relate to your friends anymore, and then there's a period of or you moved, there's a period of okay, where are my friends? And so it's just that ability to be okay, I'm alone right now. There's a bit of a vacuum in my life, but that vacuum isn't bad. It's just it's just what it is. It's just the soil, right? The soil is also, that's also a metaphor for the void. It's just things are being birthed and created, but you need to be patient and wait for the gestation. So yeah, it's just that period of time of you waiting for friends to arrive, or not waiting necessarily. It's not I think the idea of waiting for the next thing, that's not the right energy to be in. It's more you're really comfortable with yourself and you're maintaining your energy, and self-care daily practices. And so it's just you're comfortable. It's kind of, you want to get to the state of you're comfortable in the void, and you're also comfortable when the things arrive as well. So So as with anything, it's just like when we're going through changes, it just have the context of like you'll probably go through a vacuum and a void, and just to be prepared for it, and to yeah, just be prepared for it and know that there's nothing wrong. Your life is not ending. This is totally normal, perfectly good part of growth. Yeah, and it's just like this discomfort with the void, like you can trace this back to like COVID overall. It's just like part of a reason besides like actual death of people that it's throwing people for a loop is just because like all of a sudden things are slowed down and like we have to sit with ourselves and like that's the void, right? And we're all like society, humans, we're just afraid of death. We're afraid of like the feminine yin principle of just like nothingness, right? The space in between creation. And I think what this crisis is like beckoning us is us to get more comfortable with that within that space, because it is so necessary to balance out the principles of like peak experience and like not like I guess inward experience as well. So yeah, whether you're going through a breakup or a life change, or like you're waiting for like your purpose, or like, not waiting, but you're trying to find your purpose, and there's like this confusing in between stage, like that confusing in between stage is beautiful. It's where the magic happens. So enjoy it, and like nothing is wrong. Yeah, and you will be more resilient the more you can like be comfortable in the death phase. Okay, yeah, so that's it for today, and I'll catch you next week for the next healing related video. Also, early bird for breakup bless up is August 25th. So message me if you want to get that glow up and like ride the void period more gracefully. Okay, bye guys.